Draco chewed on his pencil. Math was hard, math was boring, and if he didn't finish his homework, Draco knew his mum would ground him. No video games for a whole week. He shuddered. He had to focus. The wind howled outside, rattling the window panes. Draco's room felt cold. He pulled his dinosaur blanket tighter around him. He wished he had paid more attention in class. Division was the worst. He glanced at the clock. 8 p.m. He had been working for hours. His eyelids felt heavy. Maybe just 5 minutes of video games wouldn't hurt. He could almost hear the siren song of his gaming console calling him from the living room. A scratching sound startled Draco. It seemed to be coming from the window. He froze, his heart pounding in his chest. The wind? An animal? He slowly got up from his desk and tiptoed towards the window. He peeked through the glass. The old oak tree in their yard swayed ominously in the wind. Its branches scraped against his window, creating the eerie scratching sound. He saw nothing else. Draco took a deep breath, trying to calm himself down. It was just the wind. He was being silly. He turned back towards his desk, deciding he needed a break from the homework anyway. Just then, a loud crash echoed from downstairs. Draco jumped, his blood turning to ice. What was that? Draco crept towards his bedroom door, his hand trembling as he reached for the doorknob. He listened intently. Silence. Maybe it was just his parents downstairs. He hoped. He slowly opened his bedroom door and peered into the hallway. Nothing. He took a tentative step out, then another. He was about to call out to his parents when he saw it. At the end of the hallway, bathed in the pale moonlight streaming in from the living room window, stood a figure. Tall and imposing, it wore a long, dark coat. Chains hung from its arms, dragging on the floor with a metallic clang, and on its face, a mask. A horrifying, grotesque mask made of metal plates and chains, its eyes glowing an eerie red. The figure, the chain snatcher, slowly turned its head towards Draco. Its red eyes seemed to pierce right through him. Then, with a slow, deliberate motion, it pointed a clawed finger towards Draco's bedroom, towards the unfinished homework. Draco, paralyzed with fear, could only stare back at the chain snatcher. He wanted to scream, to run, but his body wouldn't obey. He stumbled back into his room, slamming the door shut and scrambling back to his desk. He had to do what the chain snatcher wanted. He had to finish his homework. He frantically scribbled down answers, his mind racing. What was that thing? Where were his parents? A scream cut through the air, a blood-curdling shriek that sent chills down Draco's spine. His mother's scream, another scream, this time his father. Each scream was followed by a sickening thud, like a sack of potatoes hitting the floor. Draco wanted to help, to save them, but terror rooted him to his chair. He couldn't move, he couldn't breathe, he just kept writing. The screams echoing in his ears, tears streaming down his face. He didn't even know if he was doing the math right anymore. It didn't matter. All that mattered was finishing. Finally, with a shaking hand, Draco finished the last problem. He slammed his pencil down, his chest heaving. Silence. The screams had stopped. He slowly got up from his desk, his entire body trembling. He had to get help. He crept towards his bedroom door, his heart pounding in his ears. He slowly opened it. The hallway was empty. Taking a deep breath, he ran. He ran toward the front door, throwing it open and rushing out into the night. The storm had gotten worse, a raging blizzard now. Snow swirled around him, stinging his face. He could barely see a foot in front of him. He kept running, calling for help, but his voice was swallowed up by the howling wind. The cold seeped into his bones, slowing him down. His vision blurred. He stumbled and fell, the snow burying him in its icy embrace. He tried to get up, but he couldn't. He was so tired, he just wanted to sleep. And so, as the blizzard raged on, little Draco closed his eyes for the last time, his unfinished cries for help lost in the storm.